Beneath the gray, shifting waters west of Cornwall lies a kingdom that refuses to disappear, suspended between archaeology and legend. Lyonesse, remembered in medieval chronicles and Celtic tradition as a fertile and prosperous land, is said to have vanished beneath the sea sometime between the 5th and 6th centuries, leaving behind only fragments of memory, place names, and tantalizing material traces along the seabed and shoreline of southwest Britain. Lioness is not merely a fairy tale of loss, but a cultural landscape shaped by post-Roman Britain's fragile balance with the sea. In the centuries following the collapse of Roman authority, communities along the Cornish coast relied on low-lying plains, tidal estuaries, and coastal routes that were as economically productive as they were environmentally vulnerable. Archaeology increasingly recognizes that these drowned lands were once intensively managed, cultivated, and inhabited. What makes Lyonesse archaeologically compelling is not certainty, but convergence. Medieval sources such as the Tristan legends place Lyonesse between Land's End and the Isles of Scilly, while geomorphological studies confirm that large tracts of this area were dry land during late antiquity. Submerged peat beds, forest remains, and trackways discovered along the Cornish coast suggest widespread human activity now claimed by the sea. The sea that swallowed Lyonesse was not an invading force, but a slow and relentless reclaimer. Rising sea levels following the end of the last glacial period continued well into the early medieval era, exacerbated by storm surges and coastal erosion. For communities already weakened by political fragmentation and economic transition, the loss of land may have unfolded over generations rather than a single catastrophic night. Yet legend compresses centuries of loss into a single moment of catastrophe. Folklore speaks of church bells ringing beneath the waves, of a kingdom lost overnight through moral decay or divine punishment. Archaeologically, these narratives reflect collective memory, shaped by environmental trauma, encoding gradual processes into dramatic moral stories that could be remembered and retold. Lyonesse occupies a critical space in archaeological interpretation, precisely because it straddles myth and material evidence. While no city walls or palaces lie intact beneath the waves, the absence of monumental ruins does not negate the existence of a populated, organized landscape. Early medieval Britain was defined more by dispersed settlements than stone-built cities. Coastal archaeology around Mounts Bay and the Isles of Scilly has revealed drowned forests that once stood miles inland. Radiocarbon dating places these landscapes within the time frame traditionally associated with Lionesse. Tree stumps, rooted in ancient soils now visible at low tide, provide undeniable proof that habitable land has been lost to the sea. These submerged forests are not isolated anomalies, but part of a broader drowned world. Across the North Atlantic fringe, from Doggerland to the Irish Sea, entire cultural landscapes vanished beneath rising waters. Lionesse fits within this pattern, representing Britain's southwestern chapter in a pan-European story of inundation. Archaeology increasingly understands Lyonesse as a memory of real displacement, rather than a purely fictional realm. As coastlines retreated, communities would have been forced inland, abandoning ancestral lands, graves, and sacred spaces. Such dislocation leaves profound psychological and cultural scars that endure long after physical evidence erodes. Place names offer subtle but powerful clues to Lyonesse's former presence. Cornish toponyms referencing submerged land, lost fields, or drowned churches hint at remembered geography. Linguistic archaeology thus complements physical evidence, preserving spatial knowledge long after landscapes vanish. The post-Roman centuries were marked by instability, making environmental loss especially devastating. Without centralized authority or large-scale infrastructure, coastal defenses fell to local communities. When the sea advanced, there were few resources to resist it, and retreat became the only viable strategy. Lionesse may therefore represent not a sudden apocalypse, but the cumulative failure of adaptation. Each storm reclaimed a little more land, Each generation pushed settlements further inland, until memory transformed retreat into disappearance. Archaeology teaches us that such endings are often quiet, incremental, and irreversible. The enduring power of Lyonesse lies in how it blurs the boundary between history and imagination. For archaeologists, this ambiguity is not a weakness but a strength, inviting interdisciplinary approaches that combine geology, paleo-environmental science, folklore, and historical linguistics. Modern technology continues to reshape the search for Lyonesse. Marine geophysics, sonar mapping, and sediment coring allow researchers to reconstruct submerged landscapes without disturbing them. Each data set adds resolution to a picture once thought forever lost. Lyonesse also challenges modern assumptions about resilience. Its story warns that even productive, well-adapted societies can be undone when environmental thresholds are crossed. Archaeology reveals that collapse is often not the result of ignorance, but of limits reached too slowly to notice. In the context of contemporary climate change, Lyonesse feels unsettlingly familiar. Rising seas once again threaten low-lying communities, and ancient drowned landscapes serve as stark reminders of what is at stake. The past does not predict the future, but it offers cautionary parallels. Ultimately, Lyonesse survives because it answers a human need to remember what the sea has taken. Archaeology does not seek to prove the legend true or false, but to understand why it endured. In that persistence lies its deepest significance. Lyonesse is not simply a kingdom beneath the waves, but a mirror held up to coastal humanity across millennia. Its story reminds us that landscapes are temporary, memory is selective, and the sea is patient. Beneath the water off Cornwall, history does not sleep, it waits.